NASCAR is dying. The playoff format sucks. The new car is going to suck. All the drivers suck, and it is a dying sport that only Southerners watch. I can't even troll.
Alright, no rest for the wicked right here. We're at Charlotte Motor Speedway during the off season. NASCAR called me and said, hey, we need you to drive the next gen car. So we've got ours here. Truex is down there. He's driving his as well. We're doing a Roval today, and then we're going to switch the car over tomorrow and then run the oval on Wednesday. But awesome feel with the car. The gearbox is so much fun. The sequential gearbox. The brakes, I want to show you guys the brakes are much bigger. 18-inch wheel with a center lug. That's the new designed wheel for testing. I'm sure we'll see some different renditions later. You guys got to come around the back of the car. Check this out. Huge rear aero diffuser to help with rear stability. It's going to be great on the oval to feel that main difference of aero platform underneath the car and try to make the top of the car less sensitive, so that way it's better in traffic. But we'll get to that point. It's going to be fun on Wednesday to go out there with Truex and put two of these next-gen cars side by side.
All right, today, lads, it is a positive video. We're talking about my baby. You guys already know this is my child right here. I have all my hopes and dreams invested into this one car, and so we're gonna talk about it now. Quick shout outs. I'm gonna give pretty much everything that I'm gonna show, or pictures or little quick video clips, all comes from Christian Espinoza and from Bozy Tatarevich. They were both at the track, so when we go on Twitter, basically everything we're gonna see is from those two. So that's a quick side note, shout out, credit all to those two. But guys, we got looks at the next gen car. We got some nice shots. It is a road course, so I don't really know what's going to look like on the ovals right now. I think they're doing oval testing today, so I want to see more screenshots from today to see how the car's set up on the oval. But this is the road course. I'll explain basically what's going on with horsepower, with what the car is doing pretty much. And again, we'll show all the clips, so let's get right to it. All right, this is the main picture that caught my eye. Real quick, let's take a listen. Okay, so everyone, turn your headphones up. I'll shut up here. Let's take a listen. So yeah, the car sounds definitely it sounds evil, and I like that. It sounds well, let's put it this way. The sound of a car is not the biggest thing to me, except when you're at the track. When you're at the track, you want the car to sound pretty nice. I'm not gonna lie. The sound of the car is nice. That's because of the dual exhaust pretty much, and everything going on over there. It's a completely different way to set up the car. And so this was the main photo that caught my eye. If you guys know, if you've been on my Twitter, I tweeted about this. I just said two words. I said I'm happy, and everyone in the mentions was like, "It's symmetrical, it's spherical, it's symmetrical, it's beautiful," and that is the key. Obviously, you can't take too much into account right now. Teams might be able to find a way to mess this up, right? But if the teams don't find a way to mess this up, and NASCAR is very hard on them, and we're able to keep the car in this shape, one of the reasons why I'm so excited for this car is this right here. It has nothing to do with the front. We'll talk about that in a sec. Has nothing to do with the little spoiler. You're not going to see me talk about the spoiler because the spoiler can be changed all the time. I don't really care at the moment. Pick whatever spoiler you want at the moment. We're not going to talk about the engine at the moment. Just look at the car. My biggest issue with NASCAR and their Gen 6 car is the car simply sucks. The way it is designed, it is a horrible car to race. It looks fine. It looks beautiful. That was the point of the car. They wanted to make a car that looked nicer to a Chevy or a Ford or Toyota, make people, sell them more, yada, yada, yada. No. We got to make sure the car races well. That car right there looks like it can race well because of the symmetry. What I mean by that, it has nothing really to do with downforce or really dirty air or anything like that. It has nothing to do with that. It has all to do with side force. That's really it for me. I'm a proponent of, I don't think side force is a good thing for the sport. The more side force you put in the car, it's just like more downforce. Like the more downforce, the more side force you put into these cars, the harder it is to really get them to. They become too aero dependent basically. And you take the side force away, you get this car symmetrical. You don't have to rely on either the right rear or the left rear sticking out a bunch and causing this massive wake or anything. And when a car gets side by side with each other, you don't have to rely on side force, so you could get side by side battles. The whole reason why we had amazing battles with the previous cars is because side force wasn't that big of a thing. As soon as you saw guys or teams, not really NASCAR themselves, but teams start to yaw the car out and try to get this thing basically drifting down the straightaways, you started seeing side force become more prevalent. It was harder to race around each other. Gen 6 was the epitome of that. Side force was massive. These fender flares are just they're just massive, and you wouldn't be able to race around each other. This fixes that. And this is one of the reasons why if you go to a 1.5 mile track or something like that, you could race side by side. You could even lean on each other. You could pinch someone down in the corner. And yes, they could still get loose. You could still take the air off of someone's rear quarter panel or something, but it just wouldn't be to the extent that Gen 6 would do it, where it made it literally impossible to race side by side. You side draft on the straightaway, you gain such a big side draft, you clear entering the corner. You don't race side by side. In this case, this would lower the side draft a little bit, but it would still be there. You know, the side drafting would still be a thing. Getting on someone's quarter panel would still be a thing, but you would just have more control over your car, and you would have more control in being able to race the other driver. That's my whole thing about this car, is let the drivers race each other. You got to give them a car that does that. And this one photo, we're not even looking at the videos that everyone took from Bozy and from even Christian here on his Twitter channel over here. We're not even looking at all that. Mainly the videos are for the sounds of the car. You could hear how beautiful it sounds and everything. Look, we'll go to another one from Bozy here. Listen. That's completely off throttle, you know, into the downshifting. You hear the exhaust firing. There was tweets about how you could see flames coming out of the pipes into turn 1 when it downshifts. So this is basically what this car is looking like, is a sports car with stock car elements in it. And one of the biggest factors to that is actually in this article from AutoWeek.com. You could see right here, it says, Busch called the car more nimble, adding that it was a hybrid of a sports car and traditional stock car. He said the closest comparison was a V8 Australian supercar. And what's funny enough about that is when everyone was talking about this car when it first started getting revealed, and we talked about the X3 car. I know that video has been popular on my channel for some reason. Guys, I didn't come up with the X3. The X3 has always been out there. I just made a video about it. But the X3 was very similar also to a V8 Australian supercar, with how they make those cars over there in Australia and how they race. I mean, those things are awesome. Obviously, they have the V8 engines and everything, yada yada yada. The split exhaust is what delivers that sound. Again, the sound is fantastic, guys. I'm not really gonna talk too much about it. You could go through Christian and Bozy's Twitter accounts, and you go through all these videos, right? And you could just listen. We're listening to it right now. This is from a distance. He's in his apartment. Christian right now is in his apartment doing this. I'll turn it up for you when the car comes back. You could hear the car. You can hear it. It sounds nice, and I'm not going to talk about it because, no offense, the way the car sounds isn't really a big deal to me unless I'm at the racetrack. If I'm at the racetrack, I want to hear a nice sounding car. But other than that, I just want to make sure these cars race well, and that's all from the photos. So here's a shot from the side. You could see just from a distance. You can see. I want to point out this quarter panel right here. If I could pull up a picture of the Gen 6 car for something that pisses me off with NASCAR, well, I think this photo is actually perfect for it. So we could take a look at, oh, that's okay. Well, I didn't want to go to Wikipedia. Just take a look at this car, right? These quarter panels, they piss me off with how low to the ground they are. Again, this is just all side force aspects. If we just want to take a look real quick, just for comparisons, let's go to the Gen 4 car for NASCAR, and you will see it is just a little bit higher off the ground. It doesn't extend to the bottom. Now, this is really a safety feature thing. Obviously, the lower you extend the quarter panel down, the less air can get underneath the car. So if you spin it, you don't go upside down. But this quarter panel was a big thing for me. When I looked at the Gen 6 car, I was like, why are we extending that quarter panel so much? And it's causing a lot of trouble there. And so I was happy to see that, you know, when we look over here, we actually have a little bit more clearance here. I know this is a bad angle, but we have a little bit more clearance there. We have another photo of the next gen car. This is the X3 Element. You can see actually right here the splitter is actually damaged a little bit. That's from the curbs when the car was out on track, so no worries really there. That's just the problem there. This is the X3 Element. So this is the splitter that straight up from the X3 has the little gap in the middle to let air underneath the car. So if you are behind another car, you get some airflow to the front. So that is something important there. Lap times. Lap times were 84 seconds. Now the important thing about that is around a second faster than Chase Elliott's fastest lap at the Roval during the playoff race. Why that is important? This car has less horsepower. The way they were running it at 650 according to Kurt Busch, but I think they were manipulating between 550 and 750. So Kurt Busch says it was 650, but I think throughout the day they were running it at different points with the horsepower. They were just changing up the engine tuning to run it at different times. And what Kurt was saying was that let's find the quote here. So the cars, they're not technically faster. I want to make sure that's known. The cars, it has a faster lap time, but what even Kurt's saying, you see the quote right here. The brakes are much bigger. The car can stop a lot quicker. So obviously with better brakes, bigger brakes, you can stop the car quicker. That's going to improve lap time. But also with the sequential gearbox, Kurt was talking about how coming out of the corners, like you put the throttle down and you feel it. Like it's not like what we're seeing at the 550 horsepower package at like the 1.5 mile tracks, where if you had to, let's say Atlanta or Darlington, get out of the throttle and then you get back in and you're just like, I mean, it's just so sluggish, nothing happens. So what Kurt was saying was with this specific engine package, specific car with the specific parts in it, when you get back on the power, you feel it. It turns. It brakes harder. It gets back up to speed faster. I mean, all these things are really good. So one thing to note about the horsepower is that I understand everyone wants 900 horsepower or 750 horsepower. Just remember, the most important thing is balance. You have to match the engine package with the car that you have. So we can make a car that has 900 horsepower, but I mean, if it's aerodynamically super efficient, we'd be hitting 250 miles per hour. So like, you can't do that, right? So you have to find ways to match the drag, the downforce, and the engine. And 650 is a nice number. Isn't that what Xfinity runs? Xfinity runs around that number. Xfinity has some great races. It's 650 still a ton of power. It's about how that power is outputted towards, when you put your throttle on, when you put your foot on the throttle and you put the pedal to the ground, how much of that power you get immediately. It's not like, all right, what's the top speed here? How much of that power do you feel coming out of the corners? That's very important for racing purposes. And the way Kurt's talking about the sequential gearbox and everything here, and how the power is and how the car stops a lot quicker, seems like this is going to be a lot of fun. And remember, take notes from the drivers. Whenever the driver says something, listen to them. They're the ones driving the car. They're the most accurate. So this is again from Bozy here. Sorry if I can't see your profile. It's right here. I know my camera's over there, but we're going to talk about more the car. So you can see ground clearance. This is one thing that a lot of people about the Gen 6 car, including myself, hate. The car was sealed off. It was sealed off at the end of the Gen 4 era, but this is something that NASCAR, I think, is going to try. I think they're going to try to, and this is from the ground that he took, to get these cars off the ground. Do I think this will last? No, I really don't. These guys, the teams will be able to get the car on the ground. They're gonna find a way to do it. The important thing is this front gap right here. You can never get that on the ground because that will always have a little bit of air. So that's why I talked about the X3 being so important. The X3 splitter was so important because the teams, you cannot get that thing on the ground. You could maybe try to get the rest of the car on the ground, but you can't get that on the ground. If you do get that on the ground, if you get this little area of the splitter on the ground, then how are you going to get the side skirts on the ground? So it's just a little game we play here. The quarter panels, if we cut the quarter panels up, you can't get that on the ground like it is on Gen 6. The more ground clearance this car has, the better it will be. And these are fantastic pictures here by Bozy. Really giving it a shot. Here's the rear end of the car. Again, don't go off the looks of the car yet. Like, don't really look at the side. One thing I will say, the sides of the car looks beautiful to me right now. I love it. It's not really flared out, but that's probably not going to last. As soon as Chevy Ford and Toyota get their hands on this car. They will design the body of the car specifically to how they want, whether it be a Camaro, a Camry, a Supra, a Mustang, whatever they want that car to look like. They'll try as much as they can to look like it, and they won't really technically care about the racing aspect part of it sometimes. They want, fastest aero aspects. They want the car looking nice. That's what they're going to want. So this is just your basic, next gen car without really seeing what the manufacturers are going to do to it. So that's why I'm saying don't take too much into account what the fenders are looking like, the rear end, the front end. That will all change according to whatever the manufacturers want to do, the OEMs want to do with the car. But everything looks really nice here. I'm liking the way this rear bumper's looking. Again, if I could just get clearance, everything off the ground, it's beautiful. We have the rear diffuser back here. The whole point of the rear diffuser is rear downforce stability basically underneath the car. We want downforce underneath the car instead of on top of the car. So that way, if you get behind this car, you won't have to deal with dirty air flying off of it with, let's say, a massive spoiler. So that is something that NASCAR is trying to do with the rear diffuser. It's going to add a lot of downforce underneath the car, and it's great. If you want to stick downforce somewhere, if you want to get that underground effect, stick it under the car, so that way we don't gotta deal with it flying up everywhere, and ruining the racing experience. So this is something that I really, really like, and I'm very happy with. I've said that multiple times, but just reiterating it again with these new shots. I'm really, really happy with it. Martin Truex said the car does everything a little bit better, which is nice. Again, that's actually a really good shot right there. You could see the ground clearance. It's looking good. I think this car right now is looking good. I'm just worried about what the teams are going to do to it. I'll be honest. I am worried. Obviously, this is what NASCAR wants. NASCAR wants the car looking like this. They want the ground clearance. They want the smaller spoiler. They want everything looking pretty nice. As soon as the teams get their hand on this for a few weeks, a few years, they can find things. They could change this a lot. So that it's NASCAR's responsibility to try as hard as they possibly can to not allow the teams, within the rule book, to find ways to really manipulate the way this car looks or rides on track, and secure the better racing. The racing has to be. I understand teams want to go fast. We all get that. But let's try to tighten the rule book as much as possible, while still giving the teams freedom. But tighten it as much as it's a very fine line. It's very hard. Tighten it as much as possible to not let these teams destroy the car and what NASCAR's vision is. And that's going to be something that you're going to need a lot of, I would say, interpretation, or what's the word, adaptability from NASCAR throughout the weeks and years to see what teams are doing within the rule book, to make sure that they don't get this thing ruined. So yeah, this is a very common tweet right here. It's like a V8 supercar. Everyone's saying it. I don't have a complaint with that. And this is actually an interesting article from Shane Walters from RacingNews.com, and the reason why I say this is because the reason why I say it's interesting is the softer tires. The softer tires are a big part of actually getting the car to work properly. What I mean by work properly is race properly. What do you guys want? You guys want tire wear. You guys want fall off. Obviously softer tires, what that allows you to do, more grip at the start of a run, boom, falls away real quick. Comers and goers, everything old school NASCAR. And the next gen car apparently opens the door for softer tires, and let's see why that is possible. The bigger tires and the stiffer suspension. So the combination of a bigger tire, which is they have the 18-inch alloy rims now, so the bigger tires, and the stiffer suspension allows for tire temperatures to be way down, allowing for softer tires. So now if we go to the softer tires, that will create the wear outs and the comers and goers. I feel bad for Goodyear currently, because Goodyear, let's just take into account what Goodyear has to do. Goodyear has to take into account a car that goes 180 or 175 miles per hour in the corners and 180 miles per hour in the straight. It doesn't slow down right now. So like you go to the corner, you're just obliterating the corner speed, and the tire has to be hard as a rock to withstand that corner speed with the current car. With the bigger tires and stiffer suspension, let's just say for hypothetical purposes, you're still going 180 in the middle of the corner. The bigger tire and stiffer suspension allows the temperatures just to it doesn't rise up as much. I don't want to be going 175 in the middle of the corner. Let's put it that way. I don't want that to be happening. I would much rather have more off throttle time. If we go 175, make sure we're going 200 down the straight, right? I want off throttle time. But getting the softer tire is going to be important for also better races. If you go look in the history of NASCAR, whenever you have a hard tire, the race is usually not that great. Whenever you have a soft tire, you could have a lot better races just due to strategy. For the simplest thing alone of just strategy and having, pit stops and figuring out what to do where. When you have races like, let's say, at a Kentucky where you could run a full fuel run, take 2 tires, be slower than the next, on new tires than on old tires, that's bad. Then track position becomes king. You can't pass. It becomes a horrible race. We all know that. And this is the final tweet we will show here. This is Kurt Busch. Let's get Kurt. There it is. Kurt Busch. Hello. This is Kurt Busch with the pictures of the new car. You can see this thing looks bad to the bone. I'm not gonna lie. Like it's low to the ground, but it has clearance. Do you know what I mean by that? Like it oddly enough, when you look at that, it looks kind of similar to a Gen 4 car. In a way, if you could get like a shot of it straight ahead. Obviously, I can't find one right now, but it looks like I saw a Dale Jr. one. I know that this one's old, but like you look at this car, right, and it looks kind of small, right? It looks like small and to be fair, it is a small car, but it looks like a race car. It looks like a little rocket ship, like whew. And you look at this car. Where is it? Kurt Busch's car. It's a bigger version of it. It's wider. But just from this specific photo, look, Kurt's looking a little small in that car. It looks pretty tiny. It looks kind of sleek. It looks like a rocket. It looks like a race car again. This is where he talked about ending 3 seconds quicker than the Roval playoff race. It's more efficient, braking, cornering speed, acceleration, 100 power less, which is 650. So everything's looking good there. And then the final screenshots before we end this video, because I don't want to go too long. Guys, I am super pumped about this car. I'm really loving it. I'm a little bit worried about these little areas over here, the splitter getting damaged going over the curbs and stuff. A little bit worried about that, but hopefully you get that fixed. Here's the rear of the car, the rear diffuser, the clearance. Everything's looking beautiful. I'm loving it. And the side of the car here, you have this dual exhaust, one on the left, one on the right. In a way, you get the car sounds and everything. And it's looking pretty. It's looking very pretty. So I'm really happy with it. We will see how we do, and we'll see what this car comes up for 2022. The next step for me with this car, guys, really is the next step is seeing this car. If NASCAR could find a way to get multiple, like let's say 4 or 5 of these things, and put 4 or 5 drivers out on the track and let them run together. That's going to be the next step. I need to see how this thing runs in a pack. I need to not even see it, but we need to see the telemetry. We need to see like onboard cameras, see what the driver's doing, see if they enter a corner at 190 with 650 horsepower, they enter the corner right on the rear end of another car at Charlotte. What does the car do? That's the next step for this thing. And once we see that, that really will be the final step. After that, you just have to figure out your pack racing package with this thing. And usually NASCAR could get the pack racing right, so I'm not really too worried about that. And then from there on, we have the road courses, the short track, and everything's looking great. So I'm going to end it there, guys. It's been pretty long of a video. Comment down below what you think about this beautiful specimen of a child that is I don't care this is my car, okay? This is mine. This is the one car I have been pleading and praying that NASCAR doesn't screw up. So I don't even care if they call it their car, next gen. No, it's my gen, my car, Radman's car, all right? Hashtag Radman's car. This is my car, all right? I've been praising this thing for years. It's mine. You're not taking it away from me, and you're not ruining it either. So don't ruin it. I'm looking at you, race teams. Hendrick Motorsports, I love you, but if you ruin this car for me and make it aerodynamically dependent and horrible in traffic, I'm going to come at you at Charlotte, North Carolina, and have very strong words with you, Rick Hendrick. Don't do it. All right, for the sake of the sport, do not ruin my car. If you guys like the video, make sure you hit the like button. New to the channel, make sure you subscribe. If you love the Radman Gen car, yes, I'm specifically calling it the Radman Gen. It is mine. Then hit the like button. If you don't like that, then don't hit the like button. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram if you're not already. Take care of yourselves. This video is too long. See you later. Peace out.